5 years from now, your job might not even exist. Inflation's not getting any better, and most people are spending their time on screens completely distracted versus finding ways to get to higher ground. And what's scary is that all of this is unfolding as we speak. At the rate things are going at, we are literally seeing society split in two. And what's unfortunate is that the way the system is designed, most people are gonna lose. So we need to first cover what are the major factors that could cause this split in society over the next 3 to 5 years. And we can actually narrow it down to 3 major forces. The first being inflation and how much inflation rose over the past 5 years. Now, from 2020 till now, we have seen inflation rise way above normal. And it's to the point where inflation has outpaced wages and incomes. We can see credit card debt racking up, really putting pressure among people. And the second, which doesn't get talked about too much, is what I'm gonna call the screen trap. Now, as you know, the vast majority of people spend their time on a screen, roughly 6 to 8 hours a day outside of work on a screen, whether that be on their phone or watching television or on a computer screen. We're basically consuming content that is designed to take our attention, hijack our dopamine. And because we are being distracted, we are actually being diverted from what we could be doing to build a potential higher ground as a division is brewing. The third is perhaps the most obvious, and it's AI and the disruption in the job market. And we know with all the tech bosses and the global powers, they are not holding back, saying that AI will take jobs, whether it's white collar or blue collar. And now we're seeing articles coming out on a monthly of all of these big corporations just laying off employees. It seems like they're just laying them off by the thousands right now. Now, with these 3 major factors, if you just look at them individually, they look like they're manageable. It doesn't seem like a big deal. It's the combination of the 3 that's really starting to create this split that is literally brewing, this K-shaped divide. When you look at a K, you just see with the K-shaped divide, there is a high ground and there's a low ground. We're starting to see a rich and a poor, or the haves and the have-nots. And as every month is passing, we are seeing this divide just growing more and more and more. You could already start to see the evidence. I'll give an example with Disneyland. You can see over the past couple years, they have really increased prices, whether it's the admission tickets or even just getting Mickey ears. Everything has been getting more expensive. But why are they doing it? Because they believe that as this economy is shaping society strategically, it's better to cater to the more affluent and rich people than the middle class and the poor people. They believe that, well, rich people can afford the higher ticket prices, or they will buy the Mickey ears regardless if they keep raising the prices. Now, we're also seeing that with Las Vegas. Las Vegas has been spending a lot of money really going upscale. You could see it with Formula One coming to Vegas. You could also see a lot of sport teams coming to Vegas, the Sphere. If you notice, they are dropping billions of dollars. They are banking. We might have less middle class and poor people coming to Vegas, but the rich people will spend more money and perhaps make up for the lack of business from the middle class and the poor. I'm not gonna say that the strategy is going to succeed, but you could just see it is what they are. It's funny, it's Vegas, right? They are gambling with that strategy. Now, lastly, even with the WEF, if you're familiar with the World Economic Forum and what they talk about year after year, they are basically looking into where the future is going. Now, one of the main heads is Klaus Schwab. One of his advisors, Yuval, has literally stated that over the coming years with AI and technology and where the job market is going, but he even coined the term as the useless class.
One possibility is this creation of a new massive class of useless people. Another possibility is the division of humankind into different biological castes, with the rich being upgraded into virtual gods and the poor being degraded to this level of useless people.
That's actually pretty disturbing, because what is that supposed to mean? What are they gonna do? Yuval actually talked about it, and he even explained what he sees this useless class doing.
At present, the best guess we have is keep them happy with drugs and computer games.
Now, if there is this K-shaped divide forming where you're gonna have people who are what I'm gonna call the haves and the have-nots on the lower end, what's going to define the people who have? They're going to have ownership of things, whether it's real estate or stocks, basically assets that will continue to either hold value or go up in value. Also in that class, more than likely are going to be business owners. The third are those who are going to be leveraging AI and tech. And lastly, there are going to be people, their current jobs are not going to be disrupted by the technology, or they're going to gain the skills where they're not really going to be affected by the AI and tech. So then we're going to talk about people who are on the lower end of the K. They're going to be wage dependent. So that means they're going to have a job. And what's even scarier is that if their job gets replaced or there's massive unemployment, then they may have to rely on the government or a UBI. And then also in this category, you're going to have what's also known as the passive consumers. And those are the people who consume more than they produce, like retail therapy, watching subscriptions on Netflix. They are going to be the ones that are mainly consuming what businesses produce. Also, skills that are unfortunately going to be replaced by AI are going to fit on the lower end of this K-shaped divide. And the last part are people who are stuck or trapped in debt. That's going to make the lower end of the K. So if we see that this K-shaped divide is brewing, what can be done now? I would want to position myself to go and reach the higher end of the K and not the lower end. Now, some people might argue and say, well, you know, with everything that's coming and you will own nothing and be happy. I could understand if someone would be happy with that, but I would much rather have the option of whether I want to own something or not versus because of a lack of money, I don't have a choice. Now, here's also the thing about this K-shaped divide that's brewing. It's slowly creeping in. And what makes this difficult is as it's creeping in, with people being distracted, by the time the masses find out, it'll be too late. That's why I was saying the whole screen time and the distractions that it's causing, how it's hijacking our dopamine, it makes you think like, wow, it is almost planned to be distracted. This is the time, if you want to be an early adopter, that you could be on the high side of the K-shaped divide versus on the low side. And some people may wonder, is it too late? I have seen people have a complete life change within 2 to 3 years. So I think there is time. But if we wait 5 years, shoot, if we wait 10 years, it could very well be too late. What I will say is this, we can at least narrow it down to 3 pillars in terms of what someone should be doing right now over the next 2 to 3 years, because the key is to really aim for high ground before everyone else realizes that they need to have high ground. So the first main pillar is building leverage. So if you have extra cash or let's say a nest egg, the question now is where can you park that money in order for it to grow? Now, what those investments should be, again, that's really dependent on the person, because it's safe to say that you would probably only want to invest into something that, one, you're passionate about, and two, something that you really, really know. But the third, I would believe, is risk tolerance. I think risk tolerance is so important. Some people have no problems taking risk. Some people are more conservative. So again, when it comes to building leverage, obvious the investment side, whether maybe it's real estate or stocks or anything that you feel confident that you can park your money. Now, the other I would say is building yourself as a brand, because with AI taking over just about everything, I think that human authenticity or people wanting to hear from another person is only going to continue to grow and become more valuable. So building your brand now, whether that be on social media, maybe YouTube, that would be a form of building leverage. Now, number 2 is becoming hard to replace. So what does that mean? If you currently have a job, do you feel that it is AI proof? Perhaps maybe I should gain some skills that AI may not be able to replace, or it will take a very long time for AI or the technology to catch up. Obviously, the best road to take is to have a business or a career that you know AI or a robot cannot replace. And the third is really getting a handle on debt. If you feel like you are being squeezed right now, this would probably be a time to take inventory. See what you can get rid of. If you have a bunch of subscriptions, whether it's Netflix or HBO or just maybe, I know some people that have all the subscriptions. What can we lighten the load on? The key is to be above your bills, to break out of the debt. So that way you can start to build your leverage. So right now, over the next 3 to 5 years, As I said, those will be the 3 main areas to focus on and to start formulating a plan as soon as possible. I would really just write out the plan, then from there, lay down the foundation for action. Now, with the action, there's gonna be trial and error, okay? I think about someone gaining a new workout routine. Many times when I try out a new workout program, usually my form is not the best, but the second time and the third time I do the workout, I'm usually a lot more dialed in. Don't expect perfection with your game plan immediately. If you do feel that a K-shaped divide is brewing and you see there's gonna be a rich and a poor, I think there's just so many movies that are kind of hinting at this. I think about Ready Player One hinting at this. Elysium is another movie that I think about. Sometimes I think, are these movies are for entertainment or are they trying to drop hints? So at this point, if you feel that there is writing on the wall, where do you want to position yourself right now? Do you want to be in the higher ground? Some people are already in the higher ground, they have nothing to worry about. But if you feel that your current trajectory is leading towards the lower ground of this K-shaped divide, do you feel that it matters to take the higher ground right now while there's still time?